Tom here at Sharpening Supplies, and today we're going to be looking at some Naniwa products that have been recently added to the website. We're going to start with the Pocket Pro Stones. We talked about these in our last New From Naniwa video, and Naniwa has added a few extra grits to the line. They've now got the 600 grit, 800 grit, 2000 and 5000 grit Pocket Pro Stones. They're exactly the same as the professional stones that you know and love, just in a smaller and more economical package. Along a similar theme, we have the 135 diamond stones. These use the same diamonds in a resin binder as the larger diamond stones from Naniwa, except they're only 135 millimeters, which is about 5¼ inches long. They're also on a much thinner base. This means that it's a much cheaper way to get into the diamond resin stones that Naniwa has. If the Pocket Pro stones and the 135 stones have caught your interest, then this stone holder from Naniwa is a nice accessory to have. It will close up enough to fit the shorter Pocket Pro stones and 135, and the lips are low enough that the thin 135 stone will still protrude above the top of this nice little stone holder. It'll also hold your regular bench stones up to about 8½ inches long. This is the traditional 1000 grit stone that has a different formula to the existing 1000 grit stone. This is the T211. It's not supposed to replace the existing T210. It's there to sit alongside it. This has been specially formulated for steels that are a little bit harder, so Naniwa recommends it for Western knives that have a Rockwell hardness of HRC 60 or above. They recommend, if you've got some hard Japanese steel knives, to continue using the original T210 1000 grit stone, as they think that those two work together pretty well. So, and we haven't had much of a chance to play around with how this compares to the existing 1000 grit stone, but look forward to a video where we do just that. Next, we have the T901, so another traditional stone. This is a 220 grit stone. Once again, to sit alongside the existing 220 grit stone. The big difference is that this one uses pink alumina, whereas the existing 220 grit stone uses a green silicon carbide. This alumina will cut slightly slower, but it means it won't wear as fast either. Lower grit stones tend to wear, they tend to dish out a little bit quicker. If you don't like having to stop and flatten your stones, then this 220 grit stone is a nice new option that you can have over the slightly faster cutting but faster wearing silicon carbide 220 grit. Next up, we've got some multi-stones from Naniwa. These are combination stones. Combination stones are a nice way to get a couple of different grits in a nice compact, slightly more economical package. Here we have a 220 and 1000 grit, and then we've got 1000 grit and a 3000 grit. Two nice choices to go for, 4 different grits among them. Great little economical package there. Next up, we have a couple of different flattening stones from Naniwa. So these are the same design as some of their existing flattening stones, but in a much coarser grit. Both of these are 24 grit. That's ridiculous. You can see the grit. So these are great if you're restoring old stones or you've got a stone that is seriously dished out. 24 grit will flatten them really fast. Might be a good idea to have these as a progression of flattening stones. So the originals of these are both 220 grit, adding this 24 grit in there and then finishing on a 220 grit flattening stone will give you a bit of a smoother finish, but yeah, these are beasts of flattening stones. Next, we have a feature-packed strop from Naniwa. It's got a nice smooth leather stropping surface, under which they've added a bit of padding, before which you have the wood block. On the bottom, you've got some non-slip padding, so this strop won't go anywhere while you're using it. That padding under the leather means that if you like having a convex edge, if you put a little extra pressure while you're stropping, it will allow the leather to conform around your edge, creating a more convex edge. If you don't want so much of a convex, just make sure that you use a lighter pressure. Finally, we have a new storage box from Naniwa. This one will fit the multi-stones. It's got some nice drainage holes on the bottom, and it will work as a nice little base to use them on. This adds to the boxes that Naniwa provides, where you can buy some that will fit the traditional, super, and professional stones, and then another box that will fit the 220 and 1000 grit lobster stone, or you can put that new Strop in there. If any of these sharpening stones interest you, you can head over to sharpeningsupplies.com now to pick them up. Right, both of these are 1000 grit. One of these is 220, one of these is 3000 grit. I don't know which one it is. We're not sure. Which one is it?
The 220 1000 is the green red one.
Oh, okay. Cool.